Joining me now, Craig Parry, Executive Chair and CEO of Vizsla Copper. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mark.
So let's talk about the Woodjam project, copper gold in BC. It's got a historical resource. You've got 3 deposits, 6 mineralized zones. So can you give us a snapshot of that?
Yeah, look, we've taken a view. British Columbia is one of the world's great porphyry terrains. You know, it's a continuation of the Andean belt. You know, there's a lot of porphyry deposits and a lot of copper production comes out of British Columbia already. A lot of those things, those projects have been sort of unloved and undervalued for many, many years. So we've tried to put our foot on as much copper as we possibly can in the province. It's a good, stable jurisdiction, a great place to operate. And there's some very large systems there that we've bought very, very cheaply. So the Woodjam property hosts 5 known porphyry centres, huge amount of exploration potential there as well. We've got over £2 billion in resources and 1 million ounces of gold there already. We bought that back 2 years ago for the princely sum of $13 million. We then bolted on the Poplar project. We acquired Universal Copper early last year. That brought us another £2 billion of copper, nearly 1 million ounces of gold. So we're just putting our foot on quality resources. But the very important thing about Woodjam is that there's a high-grade component to it. You know, we put out drill results late last year of 100 metres at a bit over 1% copper, 1.2% copper. So there's high-grade zones within that Woodjam system and a huge amount of exploration upside. So it's just what we love, you know, right down the fairway where you've got a resource base that will rise in value as the copper price moves up. And a huge amount of exploration upside, both on those high-grade zones, which we haven't closed off, and then also, you know, other targets that we have there. It's a porphyry district that we've got under licence there, so we're excited to get in and explore that further, which is what we're going to be doing this year.
Okay, you mentioned Poplar. You call it extraordinary, and you say there's a good chance of recovery. What more can you tell us there?
Yeah, Poplar's an interesting one. We acquired Universal Copper, completed that transaction in March last year. That, as I mentioned, you know, the Poplar deposit itself was discovered back in the 70s. It's had about 50 million in today's dollars on the project, drilling it out, proving up that large resource base, and then no exploration in essence around that. So we're in a porphyry district that's had virtually zero exploration. You know, it's got proven endowment. So we're excited to get in and drill that. We came, you know, since we've been on the property, we've discovered an outcropping porphyry system called the Poplar South system. We've now got a multi-vector target. You've got geochem, IP, magnetics that all point to the fact that there's likely a porphyry system at the centre of this Poplar South target. That's probably one of the very best. You know, I've been doing porphyry exploration for 25 years. I cut my teeth with Rio Tinto in Chile and then China and the Tethyan Belt. So I've been doing this a long time and I've never seen such a perfect porphyry target. So there's almost certainly a porphyry there. You know, that's a very forward-looking statement. Yeah. But you know, we're excited to get in and test that. I think it'll be a matter of tonnes and grade when we get the drills on the ground come May, June this year.
That says a lot, having been around for 25 years, for you to say that. Now, the goal, the immediate goal is updated resource estimate and to get to a PEA. What's the timeline there?
That's right. Well, that's on the Woodjam project. Look, we've got more drilling to do there. I think we've sort of done some internal scoping study work. We think that things are looking very, very good there. I think we still want to complete more drilling and prove up more of that high-grade resource. As I mentioned, you know, we've got a system there called Megabuck and Deerhorn, and the southern part of Deerhorn very much open, and it's where our highest grade resource is at the moment. There's 33 million tonnes at about 0.7% copper there. We think that grade could increase as well because we're drilling higher grade components of that deposit. So we want to do that over the next 12 months before we launch into studies. You know, a higher copper price wouldn't hurt. Yeah. We're starting to see that trend up again. Of course, we hit all-time highs back in March last year of $5.10. You know, it's come off a little bit since that time, but no, things are starting to rise again. You're starting to see quantitative easing again in China. You're seeing this data centre build out that in the US that's really caught us flat-footed and off guard. And I think we're going to, you know, the world needs a huge amount more copper. You don't have to take my word for it. BHP saying we need 7 or 8 million tonnes of extra copper production at the back end of this decade. I simply can't see where that's going to come from. So I think that, you know, we're going to see extraordinarily high copper prices, $20 or $30 a pound. So our job is very Very simple, just steward our capital and our projects to a point when the copper price really takes off and we start to recognise the full value of our projects.
Now, investors aren't necessarily rewarding the story of Vizsla Copper right now. What's it going to take to get the word out, get the stock up?
Well, look, you're never thrilled with your share price coming off the way it has. What I am thrilled about is it means that I can buy more stock on market myself and start to clean up the register and build up a much bigger position myself, which is what I've been doing. I bought 1 million shares last week. I'll continue to stay in the market, continue to mop up this cheap stock that people want to give me. So I'll be in doing that, but it's quite a frustrating time. I suppose what we're seeing, I'm the lead director of Skeena. I've been the chairman there for the past 7 years. I'm the founder and chairman and major shareholder of Vizsla Silver. So I've seen those mid-tiers over the past 12 months, the developers, really take off. We're up sort of 3 or 4 times on the share price on both of those companies. Vizsla Copper in the same time frame's off 3 times. Very, very frustrating. I think just, what it means is that there's no love in the market for juniors just yet. Although there's a few green shoots starting to appear, earlier this week, last week, AMARC put out some great results from the Toodoggone area here in British Columbia. That doubled in share price on the day when they put those results out. You're starting to see a return to normal sort of trading patterns in the junior market whereby good results get rewarded. So we're starting to get there. I think this might be the turning point this year. I think we'll see back end of this year much higher metal prices, and it'll start to translate into the juniors. The other thing that's happened, of course, is the M&A cycle has really kicked off writ large. The biggie of them all. When I worked for Rio Tinto, we were approached by Glencore back in 2007 for the acquisition of Rio Tinto. Well, that's happening again. So that's a grand transaction. It'll be the biggest M&A transaction in mining history if that happens. But there's a lot of M&A going on, and a lot of that recycling of money back into other companies and juniors, and people are looking for homes for the money that they've made recently. So I think we're about to see a return to sort of favourable conditions for juniors.
And we know what we saw in 07 during all that M&A, a big run up into 2011 for metals prices. So good stuff. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Nice to see you. Craig Parry of Vizsla Copper.